Welcome to this week's Blackboard discussion on the short-run production costs of a company or a firm. Now look at this. This is a firm right here. This is a manufacturing plant. And in the short run, we consider this kind of thing fixed. You cannot change it. You cannot change the size of this particular manufacturing plant. So this becomes a fixed asset, and how much it costs us to produce, in other words, to get, is a fixed cost. Let's say in this case, the fixed cost is $1,000. Now, in order to produce stuff, we need more than just a manufacturing plant. We need people, we need materials, and those are called variable resources, and how much we pay them is called variable costs. Now, variable costs are different than fixed costs. They do change in the short run, and they're a function of the quantity we produce. The idea is if you add up these two things, you end up with your total costs, which is some number. But the main idea is that fixed costs do not change in the short run, but variable costs do, depending on this quantity here. Now, average total costs are actually total costs divided by quantity. We're starting to get into some formulas here because we're trying to understand certain things about costs and firms. Let's go forward. Let's look at how these things look in a table. There's our people, and our manufacturing plant is gone. And here's a table of numbers. What do these mean? Well, let's look over here. Quantity is how much we're going to produce. If we produce 0, our total fixed costs are 1,000. That's how much we spent on the manufacturing plant. And our total variable costs are 0 because we're not using any people or materials to produce stuff. So our total cost is 1,000. Average total cost really doesn't quite make sense, does it? So what do we do now? We move forward. We produce one more unit. And then when we produce that unit, we still have the same total fixed cost, $1,000. But now we end up with some variable costs, $600. The total cost is $1,000 plus $600, or $1,600. So we've added people. We take this, we divide our total cost divided by 1, and that's going to give us our average total cost. In this case, it's $1,600. 1,600 divided by 1. How about when we add an extra level of output? Well, we still have our plant around, the same plant, but we have to add more people and more materials, so our total variable costs go up, and we end up with a total cost of $2,000. 2,000 divided by 2 is equal to 1,000, so we end up with an average total cost of 1,000. That means the average cost of producing these 2 units is 1,000. Let's move forward. We now have a total cost of 2,800 when we make our third unit. Same manufacturing plant. We add some more people and materials. It looks like they cost an extra $800. That's $2,800 divided by 3. 2,800 divided by 3 is equal to $933. So now what's happened? Our average total cost has gone from $1,600 to $1,000 to $933. Why? Well, our average total cost is going down. We're adding resources. They're more productive. As we add resources, we get increasing marginal returns up to a point, so they're more productive. So per unit, our costs are going down. We can draw a graph of average total cost, something like this. We'll put quantity here and cost over here. And we can say, well, for 1 unit, it actually costs something like $1,600 on average to produce 1 unit. So we put the dot there. For 2 units, it costs $1,000. So we would put a dot there. Average total cost to produce 2 units is 1,000. So if this is 2, and this is 1,000 over here, then to figure out how much our total cost is, we multiply 2 times 1,000. So that rectangle would be it. But so far, our average total cost is going down, isn't it? How about for 3? For 3, it's still lower than 1,000, 933. So we'll put a dot there, and we go down like that. Let's move on and produce one more. Now we have 4. Now 4 ends up with a total cost of $4,100. We've had to hire more people. we've had to bring more resources in, and we end up with higher total variable costs from 1,800. Looks like we've got something problem. It only cost 800 to produce extra more. Now it's cost all this extra more. How much is that? That's what, $1,300 more. Why did it go from 800 to 13? It went from 800 more cost of variable to 1,300 more variable cost because we had decreasing returns or decreasing marginal returns. Anyway, our new cost ends up being $1,025. Uh-oh. Our average total cost has gone up. So for the fourth unit, our average total cost is somewhere like here. And when this starts to go up in this direction. Let's move forward. Our new total variable cost is $5,700. So that would be a total cost of $6,700. And to find our average total cost, it's $6,700 divided by 5, which ends up equaling $1,300.40, which would be somewhere like this, 5, 1,340. Well, that would be somewhere about there, and we go up some more. How about 6? That's $8,700. That's $9,700 to produce 6 units. $9,700 divided by 6 is going to equal $1,616. So what do we have for the 6th unit? We've got even higher production costs. This particular line is our average total cost line. This is going to be important as we move forward trying to understand the firm and its cost structure. Here it goes. We've got our first unit, average total cost. It starts to decline. Why? It starts to decline because these extra units of variable resources are more productive, so our average total cost goes down. Then it starts to go up. Why? Because as we increase production, we can't control our workforce. We have fixed plant size. We put in more people and more materials. They're not as productive. Maybe they bump into each other. Maybe they start to talk to each other too much, and our average total cost starts to go up. That's why we have this kind of V or U-shaped average total cost curve. Now that's the fact, and this increasing cost or increasing total variable costs here has to do, goes from 400 to 800 to 1,300, has to do with that idea of diminishing marginal returns. Our next Blackboard discussion will look at marginal costs in greater details.